All right, welcome back. We're on episode 18. Whitey, thanks for joining us again. How you doing?
Appreciate it as always. Different location this time again.
Hey, yeah, we're still trying to figure this all out. We don't have a guest again today, but like I've been saying, once we are all situated, we know exactly what time we're doing this. We know we're set up. We're going to start bringing some guests back on. But this is also going to be a shorter, quicker episode here. We're going to get into some game updates. We're going to go through a couple of the sectors of Illuvium when it comes to governance. And we're going to have some leak of the week and then get out of here. So let's get right into game updates. So for Illuvium Beyond, we can see Johnny posted just yesterday basically saying that it's pretty much ready to go. They're going to implement this new thing where it's like sleeve by ID, so you can plug in an ID in order to get your Illuvitar to pop up if it's still not popping up. He says here that he expects Kieran to announce the first snapshot early next week for rewards. We always hear dates, they don't always come true, but let's hope early next week we do hear that. We also had Kieran a few weeks ago, or not a few days ago, mention that there should be double the rewards for the first few weeks to make up for the missing weeks. I don't know if that's been confirmed yet, but I did see it come from Kieran. So we're looking at, first place in the leaderboard getting 24 ILB per week. And if you're like me and you're in that 50 to 100 range for the first few weeks, might be getting one ILB. You're going to be on the leaderboard, buddy?
I'm not, and I kind of mentioned it last time we were on the show, I believe. I don't want to bond. I don't want to bond any Illuvitars. I've bought some that were pre-bonded, like I talked about last episode. I just saw some great deals. There were some great accessories, and I bought them. Great deal. It's great for the points, but if it's top 100, I'm just not going to make it. If I wanted to, I could, but quite frankly, I want to keep the Illuvitars I have, just as they are.
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder. And I think the last episode I still wasn't on the leaderboards, but a good sign is that I finally made it on here. I'm finally showing up. Last week when I did finally get on the leaderboard, I was around 80th position. I've already dropped down to 90th position, and it's getting a little scary for me. If I start dropping out of this top 100 right now, probably means I'm going to have to, load up a little bit more money in my account, and I'm already committed. I'm hoping I can survive 10 more people trying to pass me up.
And double rewards mean nothing if you're not in there.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Like once that first snapshot is announced, I think there's going to be another buying frenzy because for the first few weeks, people are looking at double those rewards. If you're in that 10th to 50th place, you're looking at 2 ILB per week. So I think people are going to want to get into those spots. Like I'm not losing this top 100 spot.
Right. Yeah.
I will be in the top 100 for these few weeks.
Yeah, and then one thing with the other game update is I'm part of the less than 1%, I believe, of people who cannot see their album at all. I
Oh,
know
really?
I know they addressed that. Did you see that that post about that? How people can't see their album?
I saw a little bit on it. I don't really know too much about it.
Essentially, what's happening for some people like myself, when I go into my album, it's just 0 out of 9, 0 out of 9. When it first happened, I kind of panicked. I was like, oh my God, all my stuff got stolen. I went to my
Yeah.
MetaMask immediately and I checked all my assets and I was like, all right, good. All that's there. And then I went into into just my inventory and they were all there. So there is a less than 1% of people who are having that issue.
Well, hopefully they get it fixed because I don't think anyone wants to wait too much longer. But moving on quick. So here we have Julian posting in the Illuvium Zero. He's been doing weekly updates. The last update they had, it says again it's giving out dates, so take it with a grain of salt. But he says Illuvium Zero Alpha Season 1 should hopefully be out next week or by the third week in May at the latest. He put that in bold. I'm really hoping for it. There's a few other things that are mentioned in here is that they've really downsized the actual size of the file, so it'd be easier to download, fit on your computer, I guess. Another thing that means a lot to me is that they're still working on the iOS issue, trying to bring this game to iPhone, iPad, whatever. I guess they're still waiting on decision from Apple, something about they might be able to do it for Europe, but still not in other parts of the world, not in America where I am. But they basically said they're to know that they're still working on it, and we will be the first to know once they have that figured out.
So I think it looks like they watched our Illuvium for All segment where we talked about certain people not being able to play.
I know, right? Yeah.
Because we were talking about the MacBooks. The MacBooks were tough. They're great computers, but they're not great for games. And that's one update that we hope that we see. I know we got dates on some other things. Like you said, take it with a grain of salt. Fingers crossed. Hope for the best. And just kind of let them build.
Exactly. I've learned to do it that way. Let's see. Do you have any other updates from anything else? I know Overworld Private Beta 2 is supposed to be coming out. There's more leaks coming out on that. More posts. It always says it's coming soon. I don't know how soon that's going to be, but that should be coming, I don't know, maybe in this next month. Anything else you've heard?
No, I mean, just for the past like week, I've been super busy. I haven't been able to keep up really, but I'm curious to see. I'm starting to get situated where I am now, and I'm hoping to follow along and be ready to play when everything's released.
So why don't we move on? So these next 4 segments are going to be more on the governance. This is going to be our last episode before voting actually happens, so I did want to touch on this a little bit. So for the community sub-council, it's the only council where we're actually getting 5 community members on it. All the other sub-councils will just have 4 plus a team member. But this community sub-council is really to help get the community, as it says, engaged more. I personally wasn't running for this one, and I'm not really sure exactly how people are going to take it. A lot of the YouTubers and content creators in the Illuvium space are running for this. What do you want to see in the sub council for this community section? Like, what are you hoping to get out of this?
Before I answer this, you could probably give me a better idea. Difference between community and marketing, because they're kind of similar, I'd imagine. Like, what would you say the difference is here?
So the way I see it is the community is the people who are already here, getting them engaged. I guess just creating the excitement, making sure everyone's voice is heard when it comes to governance. Where marketing, I see it as more as let's get new people in here.
So one thing I'd like to see from the community is consistency with Illuvium being their game. Oftentimes you see people, they're kind of promoting all sorts of games, different projects. And I think in order to be taken seriously for this, spot, I think you're going to have to be focused on Illuvium for one. I don't think you're going to be able to be Illuvium one day, Axie another, and then any other game out there that's, out or in Web3 that's coming out. I really think you're going to have to be consistent with Illuvium. To me, that's going to be most important. And just consistency, right? Putting out good quality content that is going to earn this game, the respect that it deserves in the social media world too. So not just from the team, influencers or, content creators can make a game look bad and they're not even the ones developing it.
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying there. And I also think that could apply to anyone running for these sub-councils. Like, you want their main focus to be Illuvium. But let's move on quick to the marketing sub-council. So over in this proposal, it says for marketing, they're looking for candidates to be familiar with marketing, obviously, whether that be industry experience or building their own personal brand. Candidates should have prior experience in marketing, journalism, communications, in business that may have an advantage in being able to bring partnerships to Illuvium. So they're actually looking for people who already have connections, and we do have some people running for the council that I think can bring those connections. And their duties are going to be to propose, ideate, revise, recommend, or reject all marketing-related IIPs and ICCPs, including but not limited to marketing opportunities, product marketing budget, strategic events, external partnerships, and guild infrastructure and relationships. So yeah, obviously the main goal of marketing is to just bring in new people to this community and, like I said, make connections with other projects. So whether that be other GameFi games or different protocols, or like IMX is a good partnership that Illuvium obviously has right now. What do you want to see out of our sub-council?
I'm not a marketing expert. I don't want to see YouTubers getting paid for these advertisements, right? Because they don't seem genuine anymore, because they're also nervous about lawsuits and pumping coins, dumping coins, whatever it may be, where they have to say, this is an ad, I'm not invested. And they don't feel genuine. And it almost seems like they're just like, hey, it's a bear market. I want some money. I'll do an ad. It just didn't feel genuine. I didn't like it. So that's what I don't want to see.
Yeah, what I can say from this is basically I don't think that education in these fields is necessarily the most important thing. For example, DJ Sam, I think he'd be great for the marketing sub-council. I know he's running for that. My guess is he probably doesn't have any formal education in marketing, but you can see the engagement he gets on Twitter, and that's what I like to see. If you can get that engagement on your own personal brand, then you clearly know what you're doing to help out Illuvium. So really that's what I'm looking for. People have already proven that they can do this with their own personal brands and bringing it onto Illuvium. Let's move on here to the strategy sub-council. If you're not aware already, this is the sub-council that I am running for. So for the strategy sub-council, there'll be 4 ILV holders elected from the community. They should understand the fundamentals of crypto and DeFi, have an understanding of interpreting analytical data, and knowledge of a variety of different monetization tools. Prior experience in finance and business is helpful, and most importantly, the ability to research and understand Web3 trends in monetization and user acquisition. And their responsibilities are to propose, ideate, revise, recommend, or reject all strategy-related IIPs and ICCPs, including but not limited to DeFi projects, white space gaming opportunities, intergame economics, monetization, and governance. For myself personally, I'm not going to use this time to talk about that. I did make a separate video. I'd encourage you to go watch that if you haven't already. And I do plan on making probably another one to come out before the voting takes place, just on my personal views. The strategy sub-council as a whole, what do you want to see out of this council?
I really think you just need to have someone that's really dedicated and very genuinely interested in, the strategy of games, a good gamer. And I know that this is more than just strategy of the game, as mentioned, the economics of it. So you got to go really down a deep rabbit hole of this whole ecosystem and how it's going to be the number one, Web3 game and Web3 ecosystem out there. So it's going to take a lot of dedication. Like, you don't go to school to learn about like crypto economics and, gaming strategy and all this and that. So you're going to just need someone who just is willing to put the time in. And, I've seen you make, videos about a lot of these topics, whether it's you or somebody else, we need someone that's willing to go deep and really just focus on this, because I feel like this is the most important one. I really do. And I think we just need someone who's gonna be dedicated to that.
Yeah, and I do agree, not just because this is the council I'm going for, but I do think the strategy sub-council is a very important one. And I think there's a lot of very good candidates running for it. This goes back to what I said before. That formal education and that formal experience, it's obviously helpful, but Web3 gaming is something that's completely new. And just because something's worked in traditional finance or business doesn't mean it's going to translate over perfectly. Now, again, it's great to have that mindset and that experience. We also need to think of new ideas. TSG did host a panel for the strategy sub-council already, which is out on the Illuvium Plus channel. I'd also encourage you to go watch that. But you can see that there are some topics where we have some disagreements on. And one thing that I do mention there is that it's good to have these disagreements and to get different opinions on the sub-council, because that's how you figure out what the best option is. One in particular, I was talking about how to price fuel in the overworld, where I was actually the only one who opposed the idea of having rails set so that the price of fuel doesn't go up or down, 25%. I don't really like the idea that everybody else, wasn't opposed to that. I was the only one opposed to that. But you need to have those conflicting ideas, because if everybody thinks that's the right way going in, and there's no one to challenge them to, a different way of thinking, then we could end up with a product that we don't want down the road. We realize it didn't scale the right way.
Yeah, sometimes the obvious solution, or like you said, if everybody thinks it's right, it could be wrong, because sometimes the obvious choice isn't the right answer.
Definitely. All right, so we're going to move on again to, where are we here? The game sub-council. So for the game sub-council, again, 4 ILV holders. They want people who are passionate about gaming to a level that exceeds simply playing the game. So really, they want people who understand these games. They want people who understand the successes and failure that other games have had, or they want recommended experience in computer science and game design would be helpful in understanding the production pipeline of gaming studios. Yeah, I'm guessing that's there so this sub council doesn't come up with some crazy ideas that are impossible to implement or would take forever. So they want people to, propose realistic game ideas. They want this sub council to steer all game related IIPs, ICCPs, including but not limited to elements across the full suite of Illuvium game products, including the balancing, content ideas, intra-game economics, which is also in the strategy subcouncil. So I think we're going to be talking back and forth between these two subcouncils on a lot of different things, especially if I'm in there because I'm really into that intra-game economic side of things. And then just all gameplay decisions. We're really just looking for, at least what I want to see out of this, are just top gamers. We have some people who are going for the subcouncil that are streaming Illuvium all the time. We have some people who have been professionals in other similar games. I think those are going to be great people to get in on this. I personally, I am a gamer, but I don't play games enough to feel like I could fit into this. You want people who are fortunate enough to just be playing games all day long and really have a deep understanding of them.
I agree. I think we definitely need a gamer. Like that's all they do. It's all they love. It's the type of person that doesn't just play a game to win, to get to the end and, win the game. It's the one who plays it for the storyline. That plays for the intricacies, the one who maybe collects things they don't have to collect because it's just something that they want to do. We all got a friend who, who's just like that, whether it's PS5, Xbox, PC, and now we're going to need that for Web3. And I think that's what Illuvium's going to need. And going back to what we kind of said before, I just don't think any kind of degree or, professional experience is really going to help you here.
Yeah, and I think these gamers can really bring really great ideas to the team because obviously there's a lot of people on the team who are thinking deeply about how the game works, but they're working. I don't think they have hours and hours every day to dive into just playing these games. So you get people in the community to play these games, and then they can bring up suggestions. In this case, for the council, they can put together IIPs, and these are just there to help the team improve the game good as it could possibly be. What we all want.
Right, because it's not like they're actually going to be developing, right? They're just going to be putting out their ideas to the developers to see what can be done to make everything better.
Yeah, they could be in a game and they could just be like, this was a cool idea, but it could be tweaked a little bit, and this is how we can make it better. And then the team could, look at that and make those changes.
So it's going to need just small changes, a little bit at a time.
Yeah, exactly. So let's move on again. What I wanted to talk about here is Illuvium really decentralized, and I've brought that up before. I even brought it up with Kieran, but it still is something that's always in the back of my head. Like, there are people who make decisions, and when somebody's making a decision, it can't truly be decentralized, right? Even in this governance model, where it is, works like a democracy. You vote in the people you want to make those decisions. But ultimately, if one of these subcouncils tries to put through an IIP that is just impossible to make on the team's end, they have to shut it down. And also, when it comes to what I've been talking about with the fuel systems, if there are systems like rails put in place, even if it's a council that's voting to put these in place or lift these rails up, the game is not going to be running like decentralized. Like, a team still needs to go in and make these changes. Do you think there'll ever be a point, not just in Illuvium, but in any game where it's truly decentralized? The community is the one building the game and making the changes, or do you think there's always going to need to be that team, that centralized team in place.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to need the team because the community is going to look out for its personal best interest. So in this case, it would be money, right? If someone's a big token holder, they're going to just look, how do I just do this to make me the most money? So you need someone that has the more interest in the game itself, because the game itself is going to create a long, sustainable project. So, but this goes for any project, any cryptocurrency, whether it be a game or your traditional coin, a meme coin. You're never going to have full decentralization. Sometimes you want more, other times you want less. When it comes to games, I mean, I kind of like that there is a team focused on the game and not just the community throwing out what they want and getting their way. It's great for the community to give their ideas. I think it should be listened to. I think it should be voted on. But in the end of the day, the professionals need to do the work and the professionals need to build the game.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like I said, it's always in the back of my head, like, we've been told we can make any change we want as long as it passes through the council. But I can think of things that would just be impossible for the changes to be made. So yeah, there needs to be a sense of centralization here. But I do think Illuvium's doing it right, and they're being as decentralized as possible. As you can do and still be functional and make a game like this.
And I think the one thing is that, I'm sure people are thinking about, they're probably thinking, well, maybe Kieran or, Grant, maybe they're the biggest coin holder by a lot. I don't know who is. I'm just throwing it out there. So they kind of control the way the vote goes, right? And in the end of the day, you could say, well, it's not maybe truly centralized because maybe X amount of people hold such a high percent. And once again, I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't really looked at those numbers. But also, isn't decentralization and the whole point of crypto to be able to hold as much as you want, right? Be as bullish as you want. They earn those coins themselves. It's not like they just gave them to them, to my knowledge. So yeah, I mean, I think that's always going to be an issue. It's always going to be something in the back of your mind, but this is all going to be in the back of our mind until we get the game and we start, seeing the full product at, full release. So I think it's just something not to overthink.
Yeah, and I also think of decentralization when it comes to the gameplay and any restrictions you can have during the gameplay. So again, keep bringing this up. But if rails are set for the price of fuel, it's not truly decentralized because you're getting capped instead of letting the free market work itself out and have real price discovery. So even when it comes to those things, like how the intra-game economics works, I'd like that to be as decentralized as possible, allowing somebody to do whatever they want with their assets, not preventing people from, doing their own sort of lending system or renting system. And on that note, I think Illuvium should help support those things. Like, instead it not just not restrict somebody from doing a lending program, but actually help support and come up with ways for people to actually do that with their assets. But yeah, so like I said, we're moving through this quick. Let's just get right into Leak of the Week here. I will go first here. So Grant posted this, actually it was probably about a week ago. And he was really just showing what it might look like when Illuvials do get into the overworld. Now, this is far out. This is years and years out from whenever we do hit that public beta. But one of their goals is to get Illuvials into the open world, like how Pokemon's been doing recently, where you can walk around and actually see those Illuvials. So I'll just cycle through some of these pictures. They do look really cool. Right now, we're only getting those bubbles that you need to shoot in the overworld. I just think when we get these Illuvials, it's really going to bring a whole new life to the game. I'd expect this to be a major update, not just something small. When this comes, I think we're going to draw in more people because they're going to be watching streams and seeing videos of not just somebody running around looking at plants and rocks and shooting bubbles. They're going to see people, the ranger running around this overworld and actually seeing these Illuvials. And just right here, this hollow ramfire. Just imagine turning a corner in the overworld and seeing this thing. It's really going to be crazy. It's going to be fun. It's far out, but it is nice to see.
That might be like 50 grand at Illuvitar.
Hey, we've seen what Hollow Ramfire can do as an Illuvitar. So just imagine a Hollow Ramfire in the main game.
Imagine not catching it.
That's going to be crazy. I'm going to have to just stream or at least record as many, run-throughs as possible, because those are the moments you want to catch. Like when I filmed a lot of my opening of discs for Illuvium and Beyond, and I wasn't getting anything crazy. And then I just went on a little, spree of opening some without, recording them, and that's when I popped my Ramfire, and I was just like, I wish I had that Ramfire opened on video. You're gonna want to see that. You're not gonna want to see somebody just post on Twitter, "Oh, I caught this hollow Ramfire." You'd much rather than be like, "Hey, look here's the recording of me walking through the overworld and seeing this thing and then catching it." But what do you got for us?
That's definitely going to be the difference. So unfortunately, you stole the one that I wanted to do. And like I was telling you and saying earlier, I haven't been able to keep up too much. But I got the battle board with I always forget the name of it. The
Dimensional Stability.
Remind me the name of it.
Dimensional Stability.
And while this is not anything major, it just shows that they are really paying attention to the details, the smaller things, because in the end of the day, all these small little factors that play into the game, it's just going to build a better experience down the road. So it's better to come out blazing guns with great artwork, great animation, and to see this, just the details, the color, just the energy, literally and physically with the game. I think it's cool, and it's kind of played off a couple other Leak of the Weeks I had, where it's mainly about the artwork, and I'm really big on that. I'm really big on the details, and what do you think we're seeing here? What's your thoughts?
What I really get out of this is, I believe this is the third edition of this Dimensional Stability. I don't know why I can't get it to play right now. But so this is already the third time they've gone through and made this better. And that just shows the level of perfection that they're looking for. They had an initial version that nobody complained about it, but they still come out with, okay, here's a better version, and now it just looks amazing. And again, that second time, everybody was wowed at it, looks great, and now they're coming out with a third edition. And again, you couldn't expect them to make these things better, but they do, and that's going to go for every part of this game. They're not just going to settle with what they have because it works. They're going to work on every little detail so that when you get in there, you're just in awe with everything that you see.
Yeah, it's good to see that while they're working on certain facets of the game, the other team members are just improving what they've already built.
Yeah. Oh, now it's going. There we go.
Yeah, it's been difficult.
Off for a second. But yeah, I mean, this just looks awesome. And it's going to look slightly different for every different battle board you're on. But yeah, I can't wait to see this. Hopefully, and I think we should get this in private beta too. And coming out soon, hopefully. But let's see. I think we kept this video under 35 minutes, which is shorter than usual. That's going to be it for today. I've been really trying to push out some of my ideas for this strategy sub-council. Voting does take place. It starts... By the time this video gets uploaded, voting will start in a couple days. It'll be on May 8th through the 13th. If you've been, a long-time viewer of this channel, I would really appreciate your vote. Like I said, we got some really quality candidates out there, and it's going to be some tough competition. So get out there and vote. Find someone you like in every sub-council. But when it comes to strategy, I got you. All right? Whitey, who are you voting for? Strategy sub-council.
I got you. I already got I voted for the GameFi Plays Illuvium pin coming in the mail.
Oh, yeah?
You get the vote.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
It's coming. I'm telling you.
All right. Any final words before we get out of here?
Nah, I'm good. It was good to be on again. I'm glad we were able to make this work. And I'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right. Yeah, you just froze, so this is perfect time for us to end. Yep, that's it. See you in 2 weeks for episode 19.
All right.